Hey there, what's up, and welcome back to the Relationship Schools podcast. I'm your host, Jason Gaddis. What's up? Good to be here. Thanks for playing. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing. And thanks for being you, just the way you are. All right, and this episode is part 2 of our podcast on expectations. So we're going to jump right in here. But I just wanted to thank everybody. Thanks to Conscious Gal who wrote a review on Apple Podcasts. Thank you. Valuable stuff here. Boom. That's it. Thanks, Conscious Gal. If you want to leave a review, you can do that on your thumb with your phone. You can do it on Spotify. You can do it on Google Play. You can do it on Apple Podcasts. Again, appreciating you all for listening. Thanks. Okay, part 2 of the Expectations podcast. This episode is about when expectations become unrealistic and unhelpful. Okay, when do those expectations, those 6 expectations that we mentioned in the last episode, start to turn the corner into resentment territory and just being really kind of high maintenance or having way too high of standards or just being unrealistic about what another person can do in a relationship with you, okay? So we've got about 8 unrealistic expectations that I encourage you not to put on your partner, all right? I see these go pretty poorly over time. And remember, when you expect someone, well, let me start this way. The biggest snag here, the biggest snafu with expectations that I see in general is expecting your partner to live like you do, to behave like you do, to value your values like you do, and to be like you. And this is what happens in an intimate relationship. There's 7 stages of long-term relationships. And when it comes to the 3rd stage, which is the conflict and challenging stage, and I cover these in deeper, people get really stuck because when things start getting hard, they try to go back to the infatuation stage where everything, you felt the same and everything felt good, and they start to change the other person or try to change. Like, wait, no, don't be this messy, person who's got all these issues. Be back who you were a couple months ago or a couple years ago when I first met you. And in other words, change and live in a way that makes me relax. That kind of expectation is total bullshit, guys, and doesn't work, okay? Creates a ton of pain in people. I mean, some of you know what it feels like to be on the receiving end of someone judging you day in and day out for the way you're just not living up to the way they want you to, right? It sucks. It sucks to feel judged and not loved and not appreciated for who you are. Now, it might be they have some valid complaints of you, right? That's probably true. But for whatever reason, you don't want to be like them. You want to be you. And this is, I just see so much pain here when people put unrealistic expectations, okay? Again, number 1 here of all 8 is expecting them to conform to your values and live like you do. And some of you people that are not that into personal growth, you might hear someone listening to this podcast, for example, want you to listen to all these episodes and change and come to the relationship school and start studying, but you might not give a shit about that stuff. You might care about something else in your life. And so you probably feel judged, right? That's understandable. And my challenge back to you, person, if this is you, is, well, watch your rebellion toward them that says, okay, I don't want to live by your values. You stop trying to get me to change. You're, judging me and criticizing me. So I will sit on my ass and do nothing about our relationship as kind of a fuck you. Don't do that. Instead, go, all right, don't try to change me. I do understand that if I want to have a great relationship with you and get you off my back, I need to put in some effort here. So go put in some effort. If you need to do it your own way and not listen to any of these podcasts, fine. But go put in some effort to make your relationship a great one. Okay, that's number 1, expecting people to conform to your values and live like you do, or do life like you do, or do your beliefs like you do, okay? That's the biggest one. And all of these fall under that. So number 2, expecting them to look a certain way. This is probably more true for men toward women in a hetero relationship where men want their partner to look like a supermodel, which women are, screwed there because it's just never going to happen. You're going to look like you do, and which is beautiful and just right the way you are, by the way. But guys, from a very young age, we get trained what's pretty, what's attractive, what's good looking, and then we watch porn, and then we have this very narrow slice of what a woman is, and we train ourselves that that's what we want, when actually if a guy is really honest and he's growing, that's not what he wants. He wants you. He wants someone, a real person like you, and he wants to grow and work through his stuff and challenge himself to be a better human being. And you're the exact person, so you don't need to, try to conform into that bullshit from your culture telling you need to be different in terms of your looks. I know that's hard. I know it's easy for me to say as a guy, but just saying, okay? Expecting our partner to look a certain way is usually going to create a lot of pain. We can challenge our partners to, let's say, someone just never gets out of bed and they're feeling very slothful in their life, whether their appearance says that or not. We can certainly challenge each other to, hey, I want you to work on yourself and be a better person, and like your life force is like just sitting in the bed and the couch and TV all day. That's probably not good for you, and it's not attractive to me. All right. I think we do have to earn, I guess I will say, we earn the respect and care and love of our partner over time. And we can lose it as fast as we got it. And if I start behaving in ways that are hurtful to myself, like laying in bed all day or drinking all day or, not having a job and then not putting any effort into getting my life together, that's inviting disrespect from my partner and my partner to be not attracted to me. That's unattractive over time if I continue to behave in certain ways. So again, you have a part in this, right? Both parties have a little part there. But I would watch any seduction there on having your partner look a certain way. Okay, expectation number 3 that I don't recommend is expecting them to have sex with you when you want it. I see this one from time to time, and I'll be kind of, again, stereotypical in my gender example here, but the male, after kids, feels neglected because mom is now breastfeeding baby. Dad feels neglected and wants to have sex and starts trying to have sex when the wife doesn't want it or wants to schedule sex. Okay, every twice a week we need to do this, or once a week on, Saturday nights or something, we have a sex date, and you need to I need to get off and there needs to be intercourse and et cetera, et cetera. That, again, guys, that's going to kill your intimacy. It's just not that simple. And I don't want any of the women here falling into that trap. Sometimes we do need to get creative as new parents, for example, around our sex life. But expecting our partner to have sex when we want it, I don't think is going to go well. We get back to just dicey territory and consent, and it's just not good. Yeah, you can have an agreement though. Let's say it was an agreement that you both totally bought into around sex. Okay, that's different. Yeah. Okay, number 4. The expectation I don't recommend is that they're always available for you. Your partner is probably, ex-partner, future partner is probably busy like the rest of us or has a life. And sometimes they don't text you back in a certain amount of time. Sometimes they got other shit going on. They're not available sometimes. And it'd be great if they didn't carry their phone with them 24/7. It'd be great if they set the fucking thing down and actually went out in nature and looked around and weren't kind of tracking you all the time, that they actually got some space to themselves. So I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's unreasonable to expect them to be available to you. Okay, that's number 4. Number 5, similarly, expecting them to be everything for you and to you. So Eli Finkel writes about this, and Esther Perel talks about this a little bit. You hear people talking about this now. The bad side, the downside, guys, of what I promote sometimes, which is, hey, your partner actually can meet your needs, and you can grow and learn and see relationship as a path, and you can have a fulfilling life, and they can be your best friend and confidant and all that. It puts a lot of pressure on an intimate partnership to be that. And with all the other demands we have, especially if you're a parent or an entrepreneur or you have full-time responsibilities, that's a lot. And most of us feel pretty maxed in our life. So when we expect our partner to be everything, I think it sets us up to feel some shame and frustration because they can't be. Now, in my relationship, my wife is, you could say on one hand, everything to me. But on the other hand, I have enough going on for me outside of her, and I have enough friends and resources that if she were to get, tragically killed tomorrow, I would be okay because I have a life. It would crush me, it would destroy me, but I have a life, and I would be able to pick myself up and move on, and work through that. So one recommendation here is that you've got to have at least one, ideally 3 or 5 very close friends outside of your intimate relationship, because it puts pressure on the intimate relationship. Like if my wife and I are triggered by each other and all of a sudden I got to go tell her about that, now she's like doing 2 roles. She's listening to me in my venting about her, but she's also trying to work through the conflict and she's kind of trying to support me. It gets really messy in there. So please get friends. One of the ways you can get friends, of course, is here at the Relationship School. You can get people who you completely trust because they see you, get you, and they know how, they have the skills. But get some friends, okay? And keep strong friendships, deep friendships. Okay, number 6. The 6th unrealistic, unreasonable expectation to put on a partner is expecting them to be never attracted to other people. Okay, that's a fantasy. Some people just aren't. They don't even look, and that's fine. That's some people. But a lot of us notice other attractive people, and our partner might even see us looking at someone who we deem as attractive, and they might feel jealous. They might feel upset. They might feel hurt. They might feel angry and protective and defensive. All that's okay. It's stuff to work through. But I don't support I just think it's highly, highly unrealistic to think that your partner's not going to be attracted to other people. Now, if they start acting on that and texting and there's like fuzzy boundaries, that's a whole different story. Okay, and I've talked about that in previous podcasts. All right, so watch that. Again, I don't recommend that one. I'll just say that. Okay, the 7th expectation that is unreasonable is expecting them to not talk to people of the opposite sex. Ex-girlfriends, ex-boyfriends, ex-partners, or having, if I'm a guy, is it okay that I have girlfriends that are friends? And I do in my life because I finally did the work over many years to have girlfriends that I like, that I really love actually, and respect, and we have our own dynamic and our own friendship outside of my marriage. And that's pretty cool. But I could not do that early on in my relationship. I had open loops all over the place, and I actually had to, it was upsetting for Ellen, so we had to kind of have an agreement there that I wouldn't have contact, and that in the short term, this is okay. Okay, so it's okay. What I'm saying is it's okay in the very short term to have an expectation like this in a new relationship because you're feeling insecure. I think that's okay. But put a time limit on it, a month, 2 months, something like that, while you work on your securities and while you learn to trust this person over time. But some of us are very sensitive to leaky energy. We see our partner and we can kind of tell they're like flirting, or we see a text and it looks flirtatious, or they're still like going to lunch all the time with their ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend. That's a little weird. So we just need to talk about that with our partner and create some realistic, time-sensitive expectations there if we're going to put an expectation on that. But I think long-term it's just unrealistic for my wife to not have male friends, for me to not have female friends, and for us to just be in these silos being like, oh yeah, that's really bad. I can't be friends with the opposite sex. No, the only reason I couldn't be friends with the opposite sex early on is because I didn't trust myself. I was a mess and I did have bad boundaries. But I've earned my wife's trust over many years because I tightened that shit up, okay? All right, finally, the last expectation, number 8, that's unhelpful, unreasonable, is expecting them to fill the hole around your self-worth. And this goes back to number 5. But it's a little different because some of us feel really bad about ourselves and we partner with someone and they're everything. And then we lose that relationship and we're destroyed because we put all of our self-worth into the other person. Okay, that's really unrealistic. Please don't do that. You got to work on filling those holes yourself. And yes, a partner can fill some holes. A partner can like fill the void a little bit and that can feel good. But if we put all of our self-worth into that kind of endless, bottomless pit in ourselves, especially if we feel bad about ourselves, not good, guys, not good. So your work is to, if that's you, is to increase your self-worth over time and start filling up that hole so that you don't hire unconsciously a partner to fill that role and that hole. No pun intended, no rhyme there intended. You guys want to do a lot of other stuff. There's some healing that's going to happen for sure in any partnership, but for me to be responsible for your, bottomless pit, no thanks. I don't want that responsibility. All right, so these were some quick and dirty expectations that are unrealistic, unreasonable, and unhelpful. Okay, those were 8. You might have more. So the action step, same as the first one, is to write these down and write down, where have I put some of these expectations on past partnerships and it really didn't go well, it was unrealistic, unreasonable. Where has someone else asked this of me? All right, and then share this with a partner, with a friend, and talk about it. Have a conversation about expectations again. Now that you've listened to 2 episodes, what's realistic? What's unrealistic? What's reasonable? What's unreasonable? And can you settle upon some? And then again, you might eventually turn those into agreements. Okay, and I can talk about how to do that in a future episode. All right, sweet. Yeah, awesome, guys. Okay, one of the things we fight about is, by the way, is expectations. One partner's trying to change the other person. That's usually a sign of unreasonable or unrealistic expectations. You trying to get a person to live like you do. At our conflict weekend, which we call Accepted and Connected now, it's in late May. We have our super early bird going on right now, and I recommend you get on this and sign up soon. It's relationshipschool.com/connected. Okay, we had a great turnout in the fall. We want another great turnout here. I want to help you, and I want to help you change this forever. So let's go. Let's do this. relationshipschool.com/connected. Okay, see you on the flip side, everybody. Hey, thanks so much for listening. Relationship School fans and Smart Couple listeners, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, all right? Do us a favor, subscribe, share one of these videos with a friend, all right? We want to help the planet get their act together around relationships, and you are one of them, so thank you.